What's up everyone, in this video I'll talk about how to learn Serbian through comprehensible input. And if you don't know what comprehensible input is, I'll explain it to you right now. Comprehensible input is any kind of input that you're receiving in the languages you're learning that is also comprehensible. So anything that you can consume in the language, in the audio or in the written format, doesn't matter. Anything that you can consume is input. But you need to understand at least one part of it. So it's key for it to be comprehensible, because that's how we acquire languages naturally. That's how you learned your mother tongue. So yeah, that's basically what comprehensible input is. So for example, I make videos on this channel that I try to make as comprehensible as possible so that anyone can understand them. So then how can you understand something even if you don't know the language at all? Well, because there is context, and through the context you can understand so much. For example, there is visual context, there is context based on other words in the sentence. So we're gonna explore all of this in this video. I am a native Serbian speaker, and as you can see, I also speak English, which I mostly learned through comprehensible input. I started learning it in school, but yeah, the level that I have now mostly came through consuming the language. And I also speak Spanish, which I learned completely on my own, so no school or anything like that. And I use the method of comprehensible input to acquire the language. So yeah, that's my experience with comprehensible input. And now let's actually play one video where the guy who popularized the term comprehensible input shows how it actually works. And that guy is Dr. Stephen Krashen, an American linguist who, as I said, popularized the term comprehensible input and did a lot of research on the topic. So let's watch that video and see how it actually works in practice.
We all acquire language the same, and rather than just talk about it, I'd like to show you. I'd like to take just a couple of minutes and give you some sample language lessons. I'll use a language that I'm sure you've heard before and maybe some of you speak, and you can tell me which of these two very brief lessons you like better. Here's lesson number 1. Wir werden jetzt anfangen, Deutsch zu lernen. Und ich möchte im Voraus sagen, dass nach meiner Meinung Deutsch ist eine sehr schöne Sprache. Und ich hoffe, dass Sie alle sehr viel Erfolg mit Deutsch haben werden. What do you think? Good lesson so far? Do you think if I kept talking to you like that, you'd pick up German? Not very likely. How about if I repeated it? Would that help? Probably not. How about if I said it louder? Would that help? Probably not. How about if I said it and you repeated it back? Again, I don't think that would help. How about if I wrote it out for you and you could see it on your television screen? That wouldn't help either. How about if I wrote it out for you and you copied it down? How about if I wrote it out for you and deleted every 5th word and you tried to guess what the word is? The truth is that none of these things help. None of these things mean anything, and I hope you can see that now. Here's lesson number 2. And for this, you have to watch me carefully. Das ist meine Hand. Verstehen Sie das? Hand? Everyone say, ja, I can hear you, even though it's a TV audience. Good. Kopf. Das ist mein Kopf. Verstehen Sie Kopf? Ja? Gut. Kopf. And here I'll draw a picture now. Kopf. Ist gut, ja? Schön. Kopf. Das ist Mr. Spock, ja? Mr. Spock hat 2 Ohren. Ohren. Verstehen Sie Ohren? Er hat 2 Ohren. Okay, Mr. Spock. Ja? Ach, nein. Entschuldigung. Okay. Augen. Verstehen Sie Augen? Augen. Wie viele Augen? 1, 2, Drei Augen, drei Augen. Ist das richtig? Drei Augen? Nein. Wir haben nur zwei Augen. Mund, verstehen Sie Mund? Und hier ist eine Zigarette, ja? Nein. Zigaretten sind nicht gut. If you understood lesson number 2, not every word, but more or less, I did everything necessary to teach you German. And now I'm going to share with you the most important thing I have learned about language. Probably the best kept secret in the profession. We acquire language in one way and only one way, when we understand messages. We call this comprehensible input.
So, as you saw, this is how we actually naturally acquire languages. And it's pretty obvious for me why it works, because even if you don't understand anything, you have some kind of context that you can use to create the picture of what's going on. And Dr. Stephen Krashen says that we only acquire languages if we understand messages. So we don't need to understand every word, but we need to understand the message of what is being said, the main idea. So if we understand the main idea, then that's good enough. And I actually plan to create a course for learning Serbian through comprehensible input, which is going to include a course about comprehensible input and how to apply it to learning Serbian. Then there's going to be a bunch of videos like on this channel, but longer versions, and maybe for different levels that you can use as comprehensible input. Also a bunch of stories in Serbian, as well as there's gonna be a list of the most useful phrases when traveling in Serbia, and yeah, what else? Let me check. As well as a list of resources that you can use as comprehensible input for learning Serbian, like series, TV shows, movies, and other stuff that you can use, because you can basically use anything, YouTube videos and such. And also there is gonna be a section about cultural knowledge that you can that you should know if you want to travel in Serbia, and that you should be aware of when speaking Serbian. If you would like me to add anything else to the course, please let me know in the comment section below. So the most important thing when learning a language through comprehensible input is context. So, for example, if I say ovo je kačket, ovo je glava, kačket, glava, stavit ću kačket na glavu. Stavio sam kačket na glavu. You're likely to at least understand something. And if you know a couple of words, it's even better. You're probably gonna understand a lot of it. Instead, if it was just a sentence that you could read without any knowledge, you likely wouldn't understand the word. But yeah, you can also use the context when it comes to reading. For example, if there is a sentence and you know every word, or at least you know one part of sentence, and there is one word that you don't understand, but you understand the surrounding words, and you're much easier gonna add to your vocabulary because you have the context of what's going on. So you know the majority of the sentence, and then you can guess what this word means, or if you can't guess, you can just check in the dictionary, and when you see what it means, you can much easier add it to your vocabulary, because it's like a puzzle, the last piece of the puzzle, and yeah, it's easy to solve the puzzle if only one part is what you need to put. So let me actually demonstrate you that with one sentence. Pošto sam odlučio da prošetam psa, stavio sam mu njegovu najlepšu ogrlicu oko vrata. So if you understand everything other than this one word, for example, ogrlica, you will be able to guess what it means because of the context, or you'll just be able to check it in the dictionary, and then it will be easy to add it to your existing vocabulary because there is the context and you already have some knowledge. That's basically how comprehensible input works. There are other things that you can apply, techniques and stuff like that, but yeah, in this video I just wanted to talk about the general idea of learning languages in general. In this case, Serbian through comprehensible input, because I think that's the most effective way of language acquisition, because that's how we learned our mother tongue. So each one of us speaks at least one language, which is our mother tongue. So yeah, it's pretty obvious that it's effective and it works even if you're an adult. So that's basically it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to add something to that course that I said that I am creating, and subscribe to the channel if you are learning Serbian and if you would like to learn it, or better said, to acquire it through comprehensible input, because that is what this channel is all about. Check out my videos and see if you like them, and like this video if it was helpful in any way, and I hope to see you in the next one.